What does balls mean as a reply word or interjection? Here's the question again in Jeffrey Archer's The Prodigal Daughter. Richard, husband of Florentina Kane, the heroine of the novel, finds in the Wall Street Journal that Jake Thomas, chairman of Leicester's bank, took a countermeasure to block Richard's cornering the stock of the bank in an attempt to take over the chairmanship. It goes: Richard swore uncharacteristically as he left the table and walked toward the phone, leaving his coffee to go cold. "What did you say?" said Florentina. "Balls," he repeated, and passed her the paper. She read the news while Richard was dialing. What does it mean? It means that even if we do acquire 51% of the present stock, Thomas's authorized issue of further 2 million shares make it impossible to defeat him. The Prodigal Daughter, page 244. "I don't know what balls means," as Florentina asked back to her husband. "I look for definitions of balls pertinent to the usage in the above quote in said OED and Merriam-Webster without success. What does balls mean? Is it used casually in daily conversation?"
A clue is given in the text you quote. "Balls," he repeated. As he's repeated that, there must have been a mention immediately before it. The line which refers to Richard saying something immediately prior to that is, "Richard swore uncharacteristically," which gives some indication of the type of exclamation. One can then go to a dictionary. Testicles. Mass noun, courage or nerve. Mass noun, British nonsense, rubbish, often said to express strong disagreement. Odo. It can be seen that sense 3 is getting towards being appropriate, although disagreement may not be entirely correct. Balls can also be used as a swear word expressing extreme disappointment or annoyance. Dictionary.com has a fuller definition, from Collins, showing it as an interjection. Balls, BLZ, are PLN the testicles by the balls, so as to be rendered powerless nonsense, rubbish courage, forcefulness, Interj 5. An exclamation of strong disagreement, contempt, annoyance, etc. Usage. Both its anatomical senses and its various extended senses nowadays have far less impact than they used to, and seem unlikely to cause offense, though some older or more conservative people may object. Interestingly, its use in the sense of courage is exactly paralleled in the Spanish term cojones. Collins's usage note indicates that it can be used more or less casually, but because of the anatomical reference it might be unwise to use it in more sensitive company.
Balls. It is an exclamation of disappointment interjection. Richard is disappointed by the fact that they can't defeat Thomas by acquiring 51% of the stock, since he will issue 2 million new shares, making it impossible to beat him. Oh balls! An expression of disappointment and/or frustration. Oh balls, I lost my chemistry homework. Expression. The exclamation of great discomfort or anger. Usage. Ryan. Hey Adam, you broke it, Adam. Oh balls. As an interjection, the word balls is used to show a person's frustration or distaste at an occurrence, idea, or situation. Though typically many interjections evolve to become more socially acceptable, i.e. fudge from the more stigmatized curse word fuck. The word balls does not appear as a tamed-down version of a more stigmatized, less socially acceptable word. Etymology. Though originally a phrase referring to male testicles, the word balls has evolved into an interjection that demonstrates frustration or distaste. Source frowny face this URL. Source frowny face this URL. Balls and the synonymous bollocks, which is more common in this usage, are essentially just vulgar exclamations usually expressing annoyance regarding a situation or rejection of something previously said. In my experience, Americans, one rarely use either of the above. In terms of vulgarity, it probably falls somewhere between damn it and fuck it, but exactly where is subjective. In terms of semantic content, when used as an exclamation, there's no meaningful reference to testicles. One see this earlier question for confirmation that balls/bollocks are primarily brie. Hemingway often wrote things like, "Don't talk balls," where semantically balls/bollocks equals nonsense, but I don't think I've ever heard an American use "oh balls" as a standalone exclamation. I've encountered "oh bollocks" with various spellings, but it's relatively rare on that side of the pond. As to used casually in conversation, that really depends on the social context and the normal vernacular of the speaker. But my guess is that in Archer's context, Richard uses balls because it's slightly less offensive than bollocks, which is more common among speakers who swear habitually, but because Richard doesn't habitually swear, he doesn't know his usage is slightly non-standard. Also note that Florentina has to ask him to repeat the word because she wasn't certain what he'd said. That's partly because even British women rarely hear or use either word. It's a male thing. Smiley face.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.